Hi there, I'm Andy and welcome to my channel about crypto. In today's video I want to talk about seed phrase, or more specifically how to store it in the most secure possible way. This video will be divided into three main sections. So the first part will be just a little bit about what is seed phrase. So if you're a bit more familiar with crypto overall, you can just skip this bit. Then I'll talk about different ways of storing your seed phrase and backing it up. And then in the last bit, I will talk about a few bit more advanced options. As always, if you find those videos helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. And also if you would like to learn more about crypto, please do check out my course, Crypto Like a Pro. You can find more details in the description. Okay, so first of all, what is a seed phrase? It's a string of 12 to 24 words, depending on the type of a blockchain and more importantly, the type of the wallet you're using. And it can be seen as a sort of a master key to your whole wallet. Every crypto wallet can contain multiple accounts, and a lot of wallets allow you to also connect to multiple blockchains. So every account, and certainly every account on every blockchain, has its own private key. And although seed phrase is also often associated with a private key, well, seed phrase is essentially guarding like the main key to the whole wallet. So it's like a master key in a hotel. Each hotel room has its own key. These are private keys to each individual account or each individual blockchain in your wallet. But then your seed phrase is protecting the master private key, which is like the master key to the whole hotel, to every single room. So on one hand, you need your seed phrase to be able to recover your account if, for example, you lose your password, or if you want to set up your wallet on another device. Let's say you have a new laptop or just in another browser, you want to recreate your wallet, you will need your seed phrase or your private key, the main master key, to recreate that wallet. But at the same time, it also means that anyone who has access to your seed phrase has full access to every single account in your wallet. And that's really important because if you connect to one malicious contract with one account, and let's say you have 3 different accounts in that wallet, only that single account is compromised. However, if you expose your seed phrase, then all accounts in that wallet are compromised. So basically, straight away, you need to move your assets, your digital assets, to another wallet, if of course there's anything left still in your wallet. And then you have to make sure that you never use that wallet again. And basically it's gone. You cannot in any way trust that wallet anymore. So here I'm using Ethereum as an example, Ethereum blockchain. So as you can see, a private key is a string of characters, letters and numbers, which in the case of Ethereum is 64 characters long. And then seed phrase is that set of 12 to 24 words. We use seed phrase because although you could use that private key, well, it's really difficult and quite not user-friendly to type in 64 characters, right? And it's very, very likely that you will make a mistake. Basically, people would probably lose all their funds if they had to type in all those 64 characters whenever they want to recreate their wallet or restore it from backup. However, if you have those 12 words or however many words, well, that's much more user-friendly. What's really important to know that actually only the first 4 letters in every word are important. Because once you type in those first 4 letters, there's only one word that will match it. Because the set of words used for creating seed phrases only contains 2048 words in total. It's not like every single word in English language. There is a very specific set of words. And the only reason why we use full words rather than 4-letter ones is because, well, there's not enough 4-letter words. And it's much easier to then remember a full word, even though that last bit doesn't really matter, than just a string of 4 letters, if that makes sense. So this is an example of how seed phrase relates to a private key, and then how seed phrase, how important it is within the whole wallet. So now let's look at different ways of securing your seed phrase or backing it up. So first of all, there's no such thing as being too safe or too secure when it comes to backing up your seed phrase. This is like your PIN to your credit card or your signature. It's extremely important, especially as the number of digital assets in your possession will grow, to protect this seed phrase because, well, once it's exposed, like I said, well, your whole wallet is gone or your whole wallet is compromised, assets can be transferred really easily. So here are 5 main ways in which you can store your seed phrase, which are all secure, but we'll look at their pros and cons one after another. So you can memorize it. You can write it down on a piece of paper. You can store it on a cold digital device, so device which is not connected to the internet. You can engrave it, or you can back it up on a special dedicated metal backup device. Whichever method you will choose, most important thing is that it's always offline, and also that you have backups, because even if you choose the most secure option out of those 5, well, there's always something that can happen to it, right? So let's look at those 5 methods in more detail. So first of all, well, you could just memorize your seed phrase. For some creative people, this may be quite a good idea, especially if you make a poem out of it, or a song, or a rap, or something like that, because then of course it's all in your head, so no one can really hack it, right? But at the same time, well, as good as your memory is at the moment, there is always a likelihood that you may forget part of it later on. Or, God forbid, you may have an accident or something like that, and you may lose memory or partially lose memory. And if this is the only way that seed phrase was ever recorded in your brain, then, well, it's not the most future-proof solution. So I wouldn't really recommend it, or at least if you are going to do this, you should always have at least one backup somewhere, because, well, if something happens, you will not be able to access that wallet, or someone else on your behalf, like a member of your family, will not be able to access it. And the second option, and arguably the most popular one, is just simply writing it down on a piece of paper. Like I said earlier, well, your seed phrase has to be stored offline. You cannot save it on a computer, your phone, cloud, or anything like that, because all of that can be quite easily hacked. Piece of paper and ink is perfect, right? You just write it down, it's safe. But at the same time, well, paper and ink are not exactly the most durable materials or most durable ways of recording something. Paper and ink can quite easily get damaged over time. They cannot really withstand moisture or fire or anything like that. So there is quite high possibility that that piece of paper may get damaged. And also, if it's not stored properly, there is a risk that it may be just thrown away or just simply misplaced somewhere. So again, if you're writing it on a piece of paper, that's absolutely fine, but you must have backups. And ideally, those backups should be in places like safety deposit box in a bank or something similar. Also, if possible, consider laminating those sheets of paper, but only if you can actually laminate it yourself. So you don't want to take your seed phrase to, I don't know, a copy shop somewhere or something like that and get someone to laminate it for you. Basically, no one must ever see the seed phrase. It's only for your eyes or people who you absolutely 100% trust. Your third option is saving your seed phrase on a digital but cold storage device. What I mean by cold is that it's a device that's never ever connected to the internet. So hot device or hot wallet would be a wallet which is connected to the internet and connected to things like minting websites, OpenSea, and so on. But cold wallet is one that's never ever connected to the internet in any way. So although it's a good way of storing a seed phrase because you can conveniently type it on an electronic device and it will be secure, if you think about it, it's probably not the best way of doing it because it's rather unlikely that you will have a laptop or tablet or something like that, just sitting at home doing absolutely nothing, one that was never connected to the internet and one you will never connect to the internet. It's rather unlikely, or it's quite wasteful to have such device. So it's an option, but probably not very practical for most of us. And then finally, there are two most secure options. One of them is engraving your seed phrase on metal plates, and you can buy kits online. I will show you some examples in a minute. But if you go for that option, please do make sure that you buy a kit which you have to engrave yourself. Again, never ever go for a service where you send someone your seed phrase and then they engrave the plate for you, because it's like, well, what's the point? You just gave that seed phrase to someone. So it doesn't matter what they say, that however secure it is, it's not. You just cannot give your seed phrase to anyone else. It has to be you who actually does the engraving, because otherwise it's pointless. However, if you do it yourself, then, well, a metal plate is quite secure. Assuming that it's metal that's rust-proof, that can sustain high temperatures and so on, acid, I don't know, probably a bit excessive, but you can never be too safe. Then, of course, that's really, really good. And then the final fifth method is using something called metal backup plates. So I have one here, and that's Keystone Tablet Pro or Tablet Plus, and it looks like this. I'll just make sure that you can actually see it. There you go. So it's a metal case, quite thick and quite heavy actually. And those metal plates are completely heat-proof, acid-proof, water-proof, as in they won't rust and so on, scratch-proof, etc. So it's really, really hard to destroy them. So basically you can be sure that once you save your seed phrase here, it will be perfectly safe. And you do it by using those metal sheets that come with it. So you have few of those sheets of letters, and basically you just use the first four letters of each word in your seed phrase. As I mentioned, only the first four letters matter because the rest of the word will be always unique. And then you use those to basically put those words inside here, inside those plates. And then once you close it, well, that's really, really secure. And a device like this is not massively expensive. If you look online, there are actually loads of similar devices available. So the one I just showed you is this one, Keystone Tablet Plus. And I think it's really, really good. A lot of people I know use them. They are really, this is a really secure way of storing your seed phrase. But depending on your preference, you can choose many other options. As you can see, there are many which allow you to engrave your seed phrase. There are many different ways, like those cylinders, like this one, where you basically just have little rings with letters or numbers. You put them all together and then you lock the cylinder, maybe a bit more convenient for some people. So all those methods, again, as long as you do all the engraving, all the putting together of your seed phrase, are really good, really secure way. And you can have a couple of those and just put them in two different locations, right? You can have one at home, another one maybe in a safety deposit box in a bank, or maybe give it to your parents or someone else who you really trust to store it. And then, well, you are covered, right? You have two copies on really damage-proof device, and it should be absolutely fine. Or of course, you can mix them, right? You could have your seed phrase written on a piece of paper, maybe in a little notepad or something, and then have one of those tablets just somewhere secure. That's also a really good solution. And of course, it also depends on the type of wallet you are backing up. If it's just like a burner Degen wallet that you use for connecting to all sorts of websites, there's pretty much nothing in that wallet because you just move assets and that's pretty much it, just a tiny bit of ETH, then well, paper wallet is probably absolutely fine. But what I'm talking here about is your main wallet, your vault, where you store majority of your assets, or especially all your valuable assets. Then well, you want to make sure that this is as secure, but at the same time, also as easy to access for you if needed, in case if something goes wrong, if you lose the password. So something like this is a really good option. And finally, I want to talk about three more advanced options, which may not necessarily be applicable for everyone, but as your assets grow, as your digital assets grow, you probably want to use at least one of those to secure them. Or as you start doing more and more in the crypto space, you'll probably find that you will have a need for those. Basically, these are a way of giving another level of protection to your seed phrase, to your wallet. So the three methods I wanted to look at are Shamir's secret sharing scheme, bit of a mouthful, I'll come back to that one in a minute, multisig, and passphrase. So I'll start with the first one. So what Shamir's secret sharing scheme is something like Horcruxes in Harry Potter, if you're a fan of Harry Potter. So basically, you take your wallet or take your seed phrase and you split it into multiple elements called shards. And you can, depending on the type of wallet, for example, I'm using Keystone Pro, I can select that I will have anything between 2 and 16 shards. And then I can also decide how many of those shards I need in order to recover my wallet. So if I want the most secure possible option, then I would go for 16 out of 16. So basically that means that my seed phrase will be divided into 16 shards. And in order to be able to recover the wallet, I need all 16 of them. It's extremely secure, assuming that every shard is in a different location, but it's also an absolute nightmare if you have to actually do it yourself, right? Let alone back up the whole thing, because you need all 16 shards. So you have to back up all of them in case if something goes wrong. If you're missing just one, you cannot recover your wallet. And also you need to figure out how to store them in 16 locations. I mean, of course, those locations can be within one house or something like that, but still not the easiest thing to manage. Probably a bit of an overkill for most people. But you could go for something that's a bit more easy to manage. Let's say 3 out of 4. So then you have 4 shards, and any 3 shards are sufficient to recover the whole wallet. So you could then have, let's say, a couple at home, one in a bank, one maybe with your friends or something like that. Actually, it makes it then much easier to divide those shards amongst people you know, because no one can do anything with just a single shard or even a few of them. They need, well, that minimum number or potentially all of them in order to be able to recover your wallet. So it's something worth considering. It's certainly quite an interesting concept. The second option is multi-sig, and basically that just means that there are multiple keys, usually 2 or 3, required to sign a transaction or recover a wallet. So this is something very common in Web3 companies, when essentially you probably don't want one person to have full access to the whole wallet, especially if that wallet contains a lot of assets. So you need multiple people to essentially all to agree, all to sign off a transaction or to sign off that recovery of that wallet or whatever else. So again, quite an interesting, useful concept. And of course, you don't need multiple people to do it. You can just have multiple keys yourself, but just store them in different places. And this way, well, someone has one key, they cannot do anything with it. They need to get the other one or the other 2 or whatever. And then the third and final option is something called a passphrase. So basically, if let's say you have 24 words in your seed phrase, in your wallet, passphrase would be 25th additional word, and usually it can be literally any word you want, and it doesn't even have to be a word. You can just come up with a random string of characters. And by adding this 25th word or this additional word, you are creating completely new set of accounts within your wallet. So you may have your standard wallets protected by 24 word seed phrase, and then you have the second set of accounts protected by the 25 word seed phrase. So this is probably the most user-friendly option. A lot of wallets have them. I tried it with Ledger, with Keystone, and yeah, there is this option there. It's usually hidden somewhere in advanced features, but it's something definitely worth exploring. I'll probably make another video about those advanced seed phrase protection methods. If that's something you're interested in, please put the comment in the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to do it. But yeah, overall, I think that's it for today. I hope you found this video helpful. So just to quickly sum it up, there are those 5 main methods you can use to protect your seed phrase, and that's either memorizing it, writing on a piece of paper, storing it on a cold digital storage device, engraving it, or just using metal backup plates or metal backup device, or if you just type in seed phrase backup plate or storage, something like that, you will find plenty of options. I'll also put some links in the description. So I hope you found this video useful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.